The U.S.-Iran conflict has flared up once again after CENTCOM announced a fresh wave of strikes targeting multiple locations inside Iran. President Donald Trump has ordered strikes on more than 80 targets across Iran, dramatically escalating tensions across the Middle East. Washington has launched a new round of military action, sending fresh shockwaves through the Strait of Hormuz and global shipping routes. Calling the operation punishment, not proportional, the United States says Iran's latest actions demanded a decisive military response. U.S. Central Command said on July 8 that American forces carried out precision strikes against more than 80 targets across Iran. According to CENTCOM, the operation followed Iran's recent attacks on commercial vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. military released details of the operation in an official statement issued on July 8. CENTCOM said more than 60 Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps fast attack boats were destroyed in and around the Strait of Hormuz. Washington accused Iran of violating the ceasefire and undermining freedom of navigation through one of the world's busiest maritime corridors. CENTCOM warned that U.S. forces remain fully prepared to hold Iran accountable if attacks continue. U.S. Central Command statement read, and I quote, U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, forces completed a new round of offensive strikes against Iran, July 7, hitting over 80 targets with precision munitions as an immediate response to Iran's latest attacks on commercial vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. forces struck Iranian air defense systems, command and control networks, coastal radar sites, anti-ship missile capabilities, and more than 60 Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps small boats in and near the strait to degrade Iran's ability to continue attacking international commerce flowing through the international trade corridor. Iran recently attacked 3 commercial vessels transiting the strait, including Marshall Islands-flagged MT El-Rikayat, Saudi Arabia-flagged MT Wedyang, and Liberian-flagged MT Cyprus Prosperity. The unwarranted aggression by Iranian forces is a clear and dangerous violation of the ceasefire and undermines freedom of navigation. CENTCOM forces remain postured and prepared to hold Iran accountable when the agreement is not adhered to or obeyed. Unquote. A senior U.S. official said the latest strikes were intended as punishment rather than a proportional military response. The official told CNN that the military campaign against Iran is expected to continue for some time. Washington said the objective is to impose a heavy cost on Tehran for targeting international commercial shipping. U.S. officials also warned that additional military action remains on the table if Iran chooses to escalate the conflict again. The U.S. has hit Iran after attacks on vessels in Hormuz triggered a dangerous new escalation. Strikes have rocked Bandar Abbas and Qeshm as Washington launches a retaliatory response, according to reports. The U.S. military is said to have targeted Iranian air defenses along with missile and drone sites. The Hormuz flashpoint is deepening as Washington strikes Iranian targets near the vital waterway. Explosions were heard across southern Iran after the U.S. military launched its strikes. Pezeshkian is heading back to Iran from Iraq as the U.S. strikes send shockwaves across the region. U.S. Central Command says the strikes were carried out in response to attacks on 3 commercial vessels. U.S. Central Command said, and I quote, U.S. Central Command forces have begun launching a series of powerful strikes against Iran to impose heavy costs for targeting and attacking commercial shipping crewed by innocent civilians in an international waterway. The U.S. strikes are in response to Iranian attacks on 3 commercial vessels that were transiting the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's demonstrated aggression was unwarranted, dangerous, and a clear violation of the ceasefire. Unquote. A tanker was struck by an unidentified projectile while transiting the Strait of Hormuz, according to UKMTO, raising immediate alarm in the narrow and strategically vital waterway. UKMTO said on July 7 that the vessel suffered structural damage in the incident, but there were no casualties reported. No pollution or environmental impact has been reported following the incident, suggesting that the tanker's cargo and fuel tanks remained intact and that there has been no oil spill into the surrounding sea. UKMTO has launched an investigation to determine the cause of the strike, focusing on what kind of projectile was involved, where it may have originated, and whether it forms part of a broader pattern of hostile activity. Ships transiting the strait have been urged to exercise caution and report any suspicious activity, with maritime authorities calling on captains to maintain high situational awareness. This was the third such incident reported near the critical oil choke point on July 7th, underscoring a worrying cluster of events in a single day. A Saudi-flagged crude oil tanker was damaged near the Strait of Hormuz off the coast of Oman, Reuters reported. The incident on July 7th came just days after an earlier attack on a Qatari LNG tanker in the same strategic maritime corridor. Maritime security sources told Reuters that the exact cause of the explosion had not yet been determined. The damaged vessel was believed to be the Saudi-flagged supertanker Wedyang, according to the maritime security sources. Marine traffic tracking data showed the Wedyang was last recorded inside the Persian Gulf on July 3rd before the incident. Iranian state television claimed the tanker was attacked because it was using Oman's side of the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, an Iranian lawmaker said any future arrangement for the Strait of Hormuz without Tehran's participation would fail. Alaeddin Boroujerdi said Iran had decided to change the framework governing the Strait of Hormuz after the recent war. Boroujerdi said Iran's parliament would move to approve legislation on managing the strategic waterway at the earliest opportunity. He added that all relevant Iranian state institutions would be required to implement the new measures governing the Strait of Hormuz. War fears are rising once again after Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps was accused of striking a commercial vessel linked to a key U.S. Arab ally. Reports claim the IRGC fired missiles at commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, threatening one of the world's busiest maritime routes. The Strait of Hormuz has erupted into fresh turmoil, with reports suggesting a Qatari LNG tanker was among the vessels caught in the attack. Two commercial ships were reportedly hit as the IRGC allegedly began carrying out revenge for the death of Ali Khamenei. A Qatari liquefied natural gas tanker was reportedly caught in the missile attack near the Strait of Hormuz, according to reports. The IRGC is now being accused of targeting global shipping even as diplomatic efforts between Washington and Tehran continue. Missiles have once again shaken the Strait of Hormuz, placing global shipping on high alert. The IRGC has warned merchant fleets that its missiles and drones remain ready for action. A tanker erupted in flames after reportedly being struck by a missile off the coast of Oman. The United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations confirmed that a tanker had been struck as security around the Strait of Hormuz rapidly deteriorates. The United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations said, and I quote, "UKMTO has received a report of an incident 8 nm east of Lima, Oman. A tanker has reported being hit by an unknown projectile on the port side, causing a fire whilst traveling southbound. No casualties or environmental impact reported. Authorities are investigating. Vessels are advised to transit with caution and report any suspicious activity." Unquote. The United States has accused Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps of attacking civilian shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Commercial ships were reportedly damaged as fears grow that the Iran conflict is once again spilling into a vital global sea lane. The IRGC has warned vessels to avoid routes protected by US-led security operations in the Strait of Hormuz. Despite the attack, authorities say no casualties have been reported, even as concern spreads across the shipping industry. Analysts warn the latest strike could threaten global oil and liquefied natural gas supply chains. After targeting military assets, the IRGC is now accused of taking aim at merchant vessels. The shipping crisis is deepening as missiles are reportedly fired into one of the world's most strategic maritime corridors.